I'm like Beethoven with the bass on it. Made classic kids that went pop. Deaf to the hater won't stop. Let's talk key scales won't drop. You don't even need a scale to know I'm on top. Me and Mozart bars, you got pops. Heard Red and Tiffany, a whole symphony. You a simp to me, but go off. Or make a masterpiece for you, or at least it's gonna hit like rump bump bump.
This is a duck fat chip. By removing the fat from our duck breast, we can optimally cook both sides. Season the breast with salt and pepper, 5-spice, and orange zest. We're smoking over applewood, low and slow, and get started on the chip. Score for better rendering, season with salt, and render on low heat with a weight on top. What's left is completely rendered and crispy duck fat. Quick sear at 125 internal for the perfect rosy pink medium rare. Plate with a parsnip puree and a blood orange balsamic glaze. The contrast from the tender duck and crispy fat is unlike anything that can be achieved on the grill or even a pan. And the reason is that this steak has been dry aged with salt, and we're gonna cut into it. Salting a steak prior to cooking is usually limited to a couple days, and honestly, I had no idea if the end product would be edible. After a month, it's lost 20% of its weight and was hard as a rock. But slicing into it, I was shocked to find what looked like perfectly dry-aged beef. I added no seasonings, sear, butter, herbs, and baste. Part of me was expecting it to taste like beef jerky, but it was deeply seasoned, tender, and surprisingly great. Today we're turning this pork belly into bread. Slice into 6 even strips, pork windshield wipers, and season all sides. Turn to YouTube to learn how to do a 6-strand braid and get it on the grill. We're smoking over applewood, low and slow, and assemble the glaze. Honey, orange, and of course our sweet and spicy sriracha candied bacon. Add the glaze at 155 internal and paint all sides. And that right there is a certainly not kosher loaf of pork belly challah bread. Smoky and juicy, a simple bread on bread sandwich. That is the perfect sandwich. And this is Imperfect Foods, a hassle-free one-stop shop for all your groceries. Lemon pepper seasoned mahi-mahi, quick beer batter dip, fry until golden brown and extra crispy. Pepper jack pillow, and a fresh mango avocado salsa, sweet cherry tomatoes, a squeeze of lime, and can't forget homemade Cajun waffle fries. With both customizable and curated carts, Imperfect Foods makes shopping easy, consistency that doesn't get boring. How did I used to make money while living in China? I spent most of the past 10 years living in China trying to build a business with my brother. Being a quote-unquote entrepreneur might seem exciting, but the reality is that making money is hard, like really hard. And for 3 straight years, I didn't make a single dollar. To support my life, I started teaching English. My first students were a 6- and 7-year-old named Chow Chow and Dudu. I was initially making 1,000 RMB a week, which was literally the bare minimum to survive. And at first, the lessons were pretty awkward. I would sit at the table with their parents hovering over my shoulder, and with 0 experience, tried teaching these kids a foreign language. Even though they're very cute, I never realized how distracted kids that age tend to be, but we were eventually making progress and I started to enjoy the lessons, along with the amazing Chinese meals their parents would share with me. During my time in China, I taught 10 or so different students at all different ages, and it made me realize I actually love teaching. But most importantly, it was the key stepping stone that allowed me to build something sustainable and focus on my passions. Social media made it so I hate cooking. My biggest fear was that content would change how I feel about cooking and make me resent what I love most. There's a lot of pressure that many don't see. A limitless stream of new ideas is an overwhelming concept, but it's actually the lifeblood of this industry. While the emotional highs are very high, the lows can feel devastating. And these extremes are often felt literally just one day apart. If you also create content, you understand how vicious that cycle can feel. That said, I recently took some time off from content, and looking back on those weeks without cooking, I honestly felt really empty. It's not a negative, in fact it's reaffirmed my excitement to continue. The biggest takeaway is that it's left me feeling incredibly fortunate and motivated to make the most of it. Another huge realization was that cooking on social media introduced me to a new hobby that has somehow turned into a new passion, which is creating videos. It's been a great lesson in the importance of finding the motivation to try new things, as doing so is the only way we can discover what we're good at and what we want most.
I'm OG, y'all new to the game.
This is the ultimate holiday seafood tower. This is a perfectly rested prime rib, but what happens if you don't rest it? You excitedly throw your prime rib in the oven, and without resting, immediately slice into it. The first thing we noticed is that the dead center is perfectly cooked, but there's a thick gray band of overcooked meat. The hot juices are also flowing, completely covering the cutting board instead of staying inside the prime rib, leading to a dry, finished product. This is how to make the most flavorful and juicy prime rib this holiday season. Well-marbled rib roast with a nice big calf muscle. Tie her up for even cooking and season all sides with kosher salt. By dry brining overnight, the meat is deeply seasoned with a dry exterior. Time for compound butter. This is going to give us great color and flavor and the perfect strained dipping sauce once we're done. Massage the meat and pop it inside a 225 oven. This paste is what sets this roast apart. Paint all sides while it rests and top with Montreal steak seasoning to fortify that crust. 550 sear and just check out that roast. Perfect rosy pink. This is prime rib perfection. Butter and horseradish cream sauce. Find the full recipe on my website.